I'm back. Yeah, that was the weirdest thing I've ever had. Somebody took my final minutes from our show last night, where I was ripping people a new one, and verbal combat is what I do, and they clipped some sort of a malicious code onto that YouTube link. This is the first I've ever seen. I have never seen malicious YouTube script before. Yeah, that was the first I've ever seen, and our entire system went into a full shutdown. I'm back. Thank you. Yeah, they have an agenda. Universities are indoctrination machines. It pisses me off when the professors run around telling people what they should think. Time for ATP. Thank you. Yeah, I've never seen a malicious YouTube script in my life. That's the first I've ever seen. You would not believe what my computer just went through. I'm amazed it's stable, but Windows Defender kicked in. You never hear Windows Defender kick in. It's like one of the last barriers of defense. Keystone Pipeline leak spills 210,000 gallons of oil in South Dakota. Donald Trump not working out the kinks with the environmental controls needed. You know,
Our Major Garrett is at the White House and joins us now to discuss and major yet another set of these orders to parse. What do you make then of the language surrounding these two very controversial pipeline projects?
Well, during the campaign, then candidate Trump made it clear that if given the opportunity by being elected president of the United States, he would approve the Keystone XL pipeline, which is one phase of a very long pipeline from Alberta, Canada, all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. The Keystone XL pipeline is one phase of that construction project, essentially from Alberta to a portion of Nebraska. There already is a pipeline there, but the Keystone XL pipeline would make the pipeline larger and take it over a shorter route. And there are environmental concerns, you said, about that pipeline breaking and causing damage there. There's also an environmental concern that was weighed heavily by the Obama administration, when I say heavily, for 6 years, because the Keystone XL pipeline and all of that pipeline seeks to move oil made from tar sands in Canada. Environmentalists say that is bad for the environment, would contribute to global warming by putting more carbon in the air. That's why the Obama administration spent so long reviewing it and ultimately decided it was incompatible with the United States push for a global climate change effort to reduce carbon emissions. This administration no longer believes that's a sufficiently valid concern. Once the pipeline constructed, once the jobs, same argument goes from this administration approving the Dakota Access Pipeline. And it's important what you mentioned in the intro, Josh. President Trump said in both instances, subject to negotiation on terms of our choosing, meaning this administration is going to drive a bargain that it hopes will create more jobs, and the pipeline itself will be constructed here in the United States. So,
you know, again, a lack of clarity here on the safeguards needed to construct a triple wall pipeline. Nobody's really pushing the triple wall except for me. So people just don't understand. You can't build a pipeline without making sure it can't leak. I mean, seriously. And it would help the people, Native Americans, who are worried about, you know, the pipeline breaching the Missouri River. And we would get them on board with knowing that we're taking the safeguards, measures necessary to save the planet. Yeah, Dark Engine, Planet Nibiru, it's coming. We talked about this earlier. Yeah, the rogue planet could bring end of days this weekend, according to numerologists. And I showed you a picture earlier in the pre-show. And here it is again. Planet Nibiru. Watch this. This is a woman who took a picture of what appears to be a massive planet right next to the sun. Now, I'll play it from the beginning.
Okay, so here I am out here in September, and as you can see, there's obviously a really very clear planet that is right north of the sun. And wow, I would love to say it was the moon, but since the moon happens to be right here on the opposite side, there's no way it is. And since we all have been taught in school that Mercury and Venus do not show up, oh, just look at that planet just beaming and shining right now. Somebody tell me what it is. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. What is it? I'd like to know. And so would inquiring minds like to know. Guests can ask about Planet Nibiru. I don't know a thing about it, and I don't think anybody else does. Other than that, it's a weird picture. You think it was a drop in the lens? No, no. Her camera went right over to that area, and that was fixed in time and space. What's wrong with you? Share your personal problems tonight. You know, this is anonymous. You don't have to worry too much. You're a conspiracy theorist who knows a lot about Nibiru? Well, it's 3,600 years that it travels around its mini sun, which happens to coincide with our sun, which the government doesn't admit exists, this Nibiru. So, hey, it was nice knowing all of you in case we all, you know, vaporize. Great having a chance to talk. The Navy pilot draws obscene pictures. Yeah, well, apparently this whole thing about them knowing full well that I'm being censored, I bet the Navy thinks it's a joke, and they thought, well, since we're drawing penises over David's UHF feed, and they know who I am here, why don't we just stick a picture of a penis in the sky with chemtrails and make a big mockery of the whole thing? Massive military drills held just off the Korean Peninsula. Wow. Okay. But a U.S. Navy pilot draws obscene pictures over Washington State. All right. Yeah, well, I think time to get serious. And we're back, and we have Sarah here.
Hi, everybody.
Did you have a bite to eat yet, or
I did.
You did. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. We were hit with a malicious YouTube link. Now, I made a very
malicious YouTube.
Yeah, it was weird. I've never seen anything like it. I made a very angry statement last night in my closing video on YouTube, which I used some bad words. I admit that. But I was very angry at the Trump supporters that kept coming into our show, and I told them I was a master at verbal combat, and they copied what I said and how I'd rip people a new one. It's an old saying. And I expanded on that, and I added the metaphor, and they didn't like that. So then the YouTube link did nothing to your PC, but my PC pretty much went crazy. So luckily a Windows Defender came in and knocked out whatever was coming our way. But, well, I'm verbally aggressive when people attack me. I'm not going to deny that. All right, here we go. You know, the other one that was even more disturbing. Well, I had to clarify I don't lick butts. Yeah, I'm not a butt licker. I'm not an ass kisser. That's what I had to clarify. I think a lot of people are, you know, unaware of the word ass kisser. I never was an ass kisser. That's what makes me a unique person. I'm not about to suck up to the corporate oligarchy and the New World Order. So, yeah, we're not allowed to use words like that here. All right, thank you. I'm glad I got the message across, because some of you are living in a, you know, world of...
Did you have anything to eat?
No, I'm going to eat something. This is 3.5 hours of conspiracy. JFK to 9/11. Everything's a rich man's trick. Yeah, we play that out of memory. That's a great, great show, Happy Hour. Yeah, we actually played that many times on our show. It's a story of how our country is being run by rich people who are literally creating assassinations and God knows what else they're doing. All right, get rid of the pedos. That's right, at the top. Good point, John. Yeah, that's the big problem. There's a lot of people who are wondering, are all these reveals about groping by our president, by now Al Franken? I mean, the list goes on and on. Dustin Hoffman, Kevin Spacey, Harvey Weinstein, a couple producers. Am I missing? Oh, yeah, Steven Seagal. I mean, am I missing anybody? Anyway, now George H.W. Bush allegedly has groped 8 women that they know of. I mean, is this a cover for something even worse than groping? Because groping is pretty mild activity. I'm not saying it's good, but it's pretty mild compared to the pedophile rings that are being covered up by our government. Why isn't Donald Trump pursuing a case against his friend Jeffrey Epstein, the guy who runs Orgy Island?
Hopefully now that they they're looking at this that will open up all the other ones too.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
We're going to turn guest chat off. If you guys want to talk with guests on, come on back when I come back, because I'm not going to let you people bother Sarah during the next few minutes.
I agree with 652. They shouldn't put children in R-rated movies. If children can't go see them, they shouldn't be cast in them. No, I did not light up. I was looking at him like, what was he saying about it being mild? But then he did qualify it, saying certain things are not. You know, I don't appreciate that. So I'm going to purge you, and if you continue on that line of discussion, I'm going to ban you. Thank you. All right, let's move on to some trivia, shall we? Yes. Hi, Pilot. Hi, time for ATP. My day was pretty good. It was pretty good. What is a tower that has several different stories, each of which has its own roof? They are common in Eastern Asia and originally served religious purposes as memorials or shrines. Starts with the letter P. Not a plaza. They're common in Eastern Asia. Not a pavilion or a pillion. The first three letters are P, A, G. There's a forest wildfire happening in Texas. Correct. Mad Professor. Pagoda is correct. Who was a 16th century Italian architect? In such works as San Giorgio Maggiore in Venice and the Villa Rotonda in Vicenza, he incorporated elements of classical Roman architecture and broke sharply with the ornate Renaissance style. Not Picasso. He was an architect, not a painter. Not Da Vinci. He was an architect, not a sculptor. His treatise, 4 Books of Architecture, was especially influential to the designs of Christopher Wren in England. Not Martha Stewart. His name was Andrea Palladio. Thank you, Maddie the Rainbow. Oh wait, that was a long time ago. Never mind. What is the central building on the Acropolis in Athens, now partly in ruins? Built in ancient times as a temple, it served as a model for much of Greek and Roman architecture. Mount Olympus? No. It was a central building. It's a building on the Acropolis. The Parthenon is correct. Parthenon. Who was a... Good job getting Pagoda time for ATP. Who was a 20th century Italian tenor who made his operatic debut in Le Bohème in 1961? He has sung worldwide in various operas and concert performances. including those featuring the three tenors. Oh, right. Believes propaganda. I believe you. His first name is... Yes. Rimfire, you're close enough. It is Luciano Pavarotti. Luciano Pavarotti. What is... Not Pascal. Good guess, though, I guess. What is a popular comic strip drawn by Charles M. Schulz? The world is in this comic strip is populated by pint-sized versions of adults. Perennial optimist and born loser Charlie Brown. It is called Peanuts, correct. Bossy, loudmouth Lucy, gentle Linus with his security blanket, Schroeder the brooding piano player, and many others. Perhaps the most popular character is the Beagle, Snoopy, Charlie Brown's dog, who is often accompanied by his feathered friend, Woodstock. Oh yes, and the red-haired girl. They never say her name. It's not Lucy, but yeah. Yes, I think it is Sally. You're right. And she always has... Oh no, that's Lucy. Who has, like, the psychiatrist is in... Maybe it is Peppermint Patty. I don't know. Maybe it is Peppermint Patty. That might make sense. Marcy! It's Marcy! I think my professor's right. Marcy. Red-headed girl. Marcy. Yeah. What is a family of musical instruments played by striking their surfaces? They're used to accentuate and dramatize certain notes or rhythms and include instruments such as cymbals, drums, triangles, and xylophones. Correct. It is percussion. Good job, pilots. Bullies, propaganda, and mad professor. Percussion instruments. In drawing or painting, what is a way of portraying 3 dimensions on a flat 2-dimensional surface by suggesting depth or distance? Perspective is right. Good job. Time for ATP and believes propaganda. Perspective. What is a piece for orchestra by a 20th century Russian composer Sergei Prokofiev? Through music, it tells the story of a disobedient boy's encounter with a wolf. Hello, Stephen Gerard. Because each character in the story is represented by a different musical instrument, it is often used to introduce children to the various instruments in an orchestra. Hello. Not Bad News Bears, no. It's called Peter and the Wolf. Peter and the Wolf. What is a musical direction meaning to be performed very softly? Not prose. Prose is just written word. It is pianissimo. Pianissimo. To be very soft. That's cool, Dark Engine. Hello, Mike Loper. Thanks for watching and becoming a fan. Now you're going to ask me to fan you. I guess I could if you really wanted me to. I know, it's kind of a funny word. All right, what is a musical direction meaning to be performed softly? Pianissimo is to be performed very softly. To be performed softly is piano. And the name of the musical instrument is actually pianoforte. It's the full name of the piano, the common musical instrument with a board of black and white keys, 88 in all. The keys operate hammers that strike wires. Pianoforte is Italian for soft loud. It received this name because its level of loudness depends on how hard the player strikes the keys. So forte, fortissimo is to play very loudly. Forte is to play loudly. Piano is to play softly. Pianissimo is to play very softly. And pianoforte is a musical instrument that can play loudly or softly depending on how they strike the keys. Hello, Maddie Joe. Cosmic fan. Nice. All right, what is an open square, especially in a city or town in Italy? A plaza. Nope, actually it's not a plaza. Close. Close. You just have to change one letter and then add double another letter. Change the L to an I and then you're pretty close enough. Hello, new you now person. Goodbye, you now person. Piazza is correct. Piazza. In Italy, it's a piazza. Who was a 20th century Spanish-born painter? The most famous and influential of all modern artists. This is the one you kept saying it was him, and I kept saying no. Now it's you. I can say yes. It is indeed Picasso, Pablo Picasso. Picasso was one of the originators of Cubism, though in the course of his long career, he painted, drew, and sculpted in many other styles as well. Among his best-known works is the painting Guernica, which protests the savagery of war. There's an earthquake in China recently. What is a small, high-pitched flute? Starting with the letter P. Yes, it's a piccolo. Piccolo, piccolo. What is a painting, drawing, or sculpture of Mary, the mother of Jesus, holding the dead body of Jesus? The word means pity in Italian. The most famous of four of these by Michelangelo is a sculpture at St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. It is a pieta. 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 All right, anyway, moving on. What was a comic opera by Gilbert and Sullivan about the marriage of the beautiful daughter of the captain of the ship in the title? It contains many notable songs, including I'm Called Little Buttercup and When I Was a Lad. That is the HMS Pinafore. What is a lively dance for couples originating in Eastern Europe, starting with the letter P? Johann Strauss the Younger wrote many of these. Mark is right. It is polka. Who was a 20th century American painter famous for creating abstract paintings by dripping or pouring paint on a canvas in complex swirls and spatters? David, you are correct. It is Jackson Pollock. Oh, sorry, Candy Rain. I didn't notice you were playing. Yes, Jackson Pollock. No one got that right except for David. What is... Oh, here. I'm going to show you a picture of a Picasso painting. A picture of a Picasso. You can see how he was into Cubism. There you go. Yes, I think he is meta-nemesis. Alright, what is art that uses elements of the current culture, such as magazines, movies, music, and even bottles and cans? Hello. Don't say Chris. Don't say it. You say pulp fiction. It's a type of art. Yeah, but I'm thinking like Andy Warhol was known as this type of artist. Hello, Rollins. Candy Rain has it correct. It is pop art. Pop art. What is an opera with music by George Gershwin? It depicts the life in the African community of Charleston, South Carolina. One of the main characters is a handicapped beggar who protects the other main character to have her leave town with a rival. Only to have her leave town with a rival. The songs Summertime and It Ain't Necessarily So are from this opera. Purple Rain? No. It is Porgy and Bess. Yeah, it does sound kind of country. All right, who was a 20th century American songwriter? He had songs such as Anything Goes, I Get a Kick Out of You, and I've Got You Under My Skin. They're all renowned for their witty, sophisticated lyrics. No, not Prince. His first name was Cole. His last name starts with a P. Not King Cole. Good guess. It is Cole Porter. Good job, Mark. You got it. What is a movement, particularly in architecture, that reacted against the pared-down modern school by reintroducing classical and traditional elements of style. An example of this type of this style is Philip Johnson's AT&T building in New York City.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
Correct. Postmodernism.
Postmodernism.
Good job, Rimfire. Got it right.
Rimfire. Come on in. Good girl.
What is a famous art museum in Madrid, Spain? It is particularly noted for its works by Goya, El Greco, and Velázquez. It is Museo del Prado. Museo del Prado.
Right. We are free to do whatever we want tonight. It's Freedom Friday. Rocking on.
It is Amber.
We got Amber in the
David's
lap.
lap.
Yeah, she's liking it. Well, I guess this has been a pretty big week for America. I mean, when you think about all the different scandals that have been happening and reported behaviors, I think we need leadership, you know, some sort of a code of ethics in business. And I think human rights are involved. I think HR at every single level in government should tighten up and make sure we don't have these types of things going on. Really, HR is the group that deals with this in corporations. So, you know, you frequently hear about this going on in the background, like $32 million Bill O'Reilly lawsuit that he settled out of court. Now I guess he's getting his job back at Fox. They want Bill O'Reilly back. Yeah, so very interesting stuff. Well, I'm thinking homemade stuff and do-it-yourself stuff is really kind of growing on the internet, and I really like the fact that people are, you know, starting their own little cottage industries around the country.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks very promising. I know a lot of people in our area, when they stopped getting construction jobs, they started building grow houses and they started growing marijuana, which is, you know, legalization is very common now. I just think our country needs some traction, and I think it's a good thing. I think legalization is a good thing for our country. It would really help. Well, Sarah is ahead of me in the picture. She's sitting closer to me.
I'm going to go back.
Hey, thanks for helping out tonight. I really appreciate it. All right.
Certainly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That was bullshit.
Oh gosh. Well, I do appreciate the work that she's doing. It helps my show, you know, in so many different ways, and gives me a chance to eat my vitamins. And eating my vitamins is really what it's all about. I take my pills by putting it in my food. I think it's better to eat vitamins in your food. Yeah, totally. Industries like industrial hemp, hempoline, the creation of fuel that can be added to diesel or replace diesel. The hempcrete product, which is a product that creates using lignin from wood. They can create like a plastic material that is super heavy, or rather super light, and really resistant to fire and a great insulator. Hempcrete's been proven to be very, very good. So, I mean, we're sitting on the birth of a brand new industry, or a series of industries, and yet our government is stalwart and living in a backward mindset, but at the same time groping women, which is a very, you know, immoral thing to do. So we're kind of torn between becoming aware of what's going on and just saying, hey, this is the way it is. I mean, even the use of the word that I used last night that was copied. I never used to talk like that on the show. But I don't know. I've been watching a lot of television, like this show that I've seen recently called Shameless, where you hear the F word all the time. So it's common to talk like that, and I'm beginning to talk like that, which is almost amoral in itself. So is our country kind of accepting the fact that Donald Trump has had 11 allegations of groping and molestation from women? Are we okay with that? I mean, the lesser of the two evils, Hillary or Donald, and we're sticking with this and we're allowing this. So I think we can only go in the direction of allowing the courts to deal with this legally, and let's just not make any bigger, broader statements, because there's not much we can say about it. We've got to stop it, but there's no way we can. So, yeah, you build cedar and stone. That's awesome, man. Pilot thinks hempcrete is kind of a joke. But no, seriously, there's some amazing buildings that are out there of hempcrete. Building with hempcrete. Here's a guy who's doing it.
Day 2 of hempcrete tiny house pour. We're going to take a look at what we poured last night. The big reveal. There it is! Hempcrete!
Cool. Yeah, so it's a great insulator. It has potential to be a real easy material to work with, and it's a lot safer to the environment than concrete, which has a very fine dust that is toxic. If you've ever worked with concrete with your hands will be raw. If you just go in there and handle and try to manipulate the concrete with your hands will be raw from the acid burns. I mean, it literally rips into your hands. So, and the stuff is fireproof. Probably bullet resistant, yeah, and it does not mold. So, I mean, why wouldn't we want something so great as hempcrete? Well, it turns out that the leaders of our country and the powers that be have allowed marijuana to be illegal for so long, and it all stemmed originally from Randolph Hearst didn't want to lose the paper industry to hemp, because hemp is 5 times easier to grow than lumber, and he had a lot of land with a lot of lumber on it. So Randolph Hearst really was the first person to influence policy. And in 1936, I believe, they had the Marijuana Stamp Act, which then descended into the 1971 Controlled Substances Act, which was signed by Richard Nixon into law, which made it illegal. But there's really a growing possibility of potential jobs and cottage industries, and plus, it should be free to grow something that grows naturally. It makes no sense to stifle something that's so productive and so very beneficial and medicinal for mankind. I'm very unhappy that I live in a country of these dolts and these jarheads that fly over our house with jets with penises in the sky. Literally over our house. I wouldn't doubt the penis was over the sky of my house today. Does anybody know exactly where the penis was located? Oh, was it over in Okanagan? Okay.
But it was people from our base.
So it wasn't over my house. That was good. I shouldn't make this personal. All right. Everyone knows that the stories of all these weird behaviors permeating our culture is just the underlying surface just bubbling at the top. I mean, Ron Jeremy, like I said earlier, is being accused of rape by 30 women, or allegedly accused of rape. So he says he's going to lawyer up and sue every one of these people because that's his job. And then when they go to meet him, they know that they're going to get groped. So he's trying to mainstream the idea of groping and make it seem okay for old guys to grope women because he's a porn star. So I'm not sure where to draw the line on that, because if a woman is openly soliciting herself with a guy like Ron Jeremy, he has a point. There is a two-way street involved, but underage groping of minors, that's definitely taboo, and it's a no-no in our society. So if this woman who's alleging that Al Franken did that to her when she was working with him, if these are civil charges, let them go to the civil courts. You know, what can you say? Well, I don't know if it's aimed at me directly. I mean, it could be just a statement of our society. Who is this person? And why are you putting your picture in the showroom? Yeah. Grandpa used to grope lots of women too and small pets. Mad Professor has a grandpa who used to grope the small pets in the family. This is getting a little weird. Yeah, I didn't think it would drift into bestiality so soon. But I think what's really going on is our culture is, like I said earlier, both permissive, or rather prudish. And we are also extremely immoral at the same time. It comes from the roots of our culture. I think the Germanic, puritanical roots of what America is being ripped apart by a culture that's evolved with all kinds of new musical trends, and the idea of free love was introduced in the 60s, and then everyone wanted to have an experimental life, and now I understand young people are becoming more, I guess, polyamorous. That's the best word to describe what young people are trying to do. And I personally am against it. I think it's better to have monogamy because it's a stable environment for people to raise a family. I was just reading how the Amish have unbelievable, rituals they go through to protect their belief system, so that the young people who go out on the, they're allowed to go freely into a society and do whatever they're going to do. They have the ability to actually leave the Amish community. But in a way, our culture has to have that leniency to allow people to, explore their ideas of what they want to do. But I still believe that, like the Amish in that way, that the best thing to do is to go back to the monogamous unit, the family unit, the mother and father and the children. And it saves a lot of emotional strife and grief, and people are a lot less likely to hate each other when they're not going through such... but I can't enforce this. You can try to say there's no polygamy allowed in America, but we all know what's going on. And we all know it's happening behind secret societies or sects of various groups, religious groups. But there's lots of polygamy happening. And I'm not saying in any way that that's an endorsement, but we can't go in and send the sex police in there and try to stop this behavior. But whenever minors are involved, I think we need to step up and do everything we can. And that's why Pizzagate needs to be talked about. I think this entire thing about all these people in Hollywood really should lead us to more information about the real predators, not some sort of a sidetrack. So, I think it really comes down to what you personally want in life. It doesn't really matter what we should legislate into existence. I don't believe we should have special accommodations for transgender bathrooms. I think it's a waste of money. Pollyanna, an excessively cheerful or optimistic person. Polyamorous, yeah. All right, well, that's exciting. Oops. That's weird. Oh my God. You've got to be kidding me. Look at that. They got rid of that story I had about the journalist. Remember, you probably don't remember it, but I had a woman on there, a blonde woman, who had been essentially died of a stroke when she exposed pedophile networks in the world. And then the whole page has been wiped clean. This was the link. Investigative journalist exposed elite pedophile ring found dead. Huh. It's happening right in front of our eyes. Oh, that's that global validation on nanoparticles. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a look here and see if I can find another article with that byline. That's really weird. Yeah, 3 Vegas shooters video. Boom. Oh. Really? The FBI is freaking?
You've heard about the helicopter, right?
Okay, the helicopter is one of the stories that didn't get you know, any coverage during the Mandalay Bay shooting, but let's see if there's anything there. Let me go to this location. Yeah, here's the story. This is what we had the page before. They didn't get scrubbed this one, but this is over at Conspiracy Oz. He's got a capture of it. But this woman, Liz McKeon, the former British investigative reporter who exposed Jimmy Savile and the culture of pedophile protection in the BBC. They basically, the woman blocked, the BBC blocked her groundbreaking investigation from airing and spent the next few years attempting to destroy her reputation and reporting that she died of complications from a stroke. Her conscience left her no option but to pursue the truth and expose the culture of pedophilia. The mother of 2 children believed it was her duty. So here is another example of how, you know, this kind of stuff gets scrubbed on the net. Now I've got a video here of the Mandalay Bay shooting. 2 actual shooters on video in Vegas.
The helicopter that flew all around Vegas supposedly is shooting people. So in this video, you can see shooting on top of a rooftop near the Mandalay Hotel, but you can't really...
Yeah, this is the other 3 shooters that we didn't see. So this guy's doing an in-depth study of it. Let me get you a link to this. Or I'm going to put it in the lineup tonight. Thank you. Whew. Yeah, the footage in the Mandalay Bay shows 3 men on top of a roof, which makes one think, why are they pinning it all on Stephen Paddock? How about a early dance? Yeah, Conjure, okay. Can't stop because we won't stop. We just had a person compliment our show earlier that Mr. Wright is playing in clubs now in Italy. I thought that was really amazing. A group of people said they love the song and they really enjoy the music that I created there. Awesome. But we've got other music, and the Can't Stop song is something that Scissor Fight put together for our show with background, and we'll play that because it's dedicated to never stopping what we're doing.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop. We can't stop, we can't stop. We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop.
So let's be clear. In this coming election year, please vote for David Sponheim, America's Good Party.
Sponheim for president. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. Can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, can't stop, and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight.
Thank you very much. All right, we are now moving forward as a group, as one group, watching a show every night. Here is another one, Dave, about the shooting. Oh, okay. Yeah, 57 minutes walking the footsteps of Joe Napoli live in Las Vegas. Cool, excellent, thank you. Well, I'd like to know more about it. I really would. You know, inquiring minds want to know, and that's important that we find out why the government's so hell-bent on one shooter. When numerous witnesses said there were more than one, and then the witnesses, one of the women that said it was multiple shooters, died 5 days after she left, and she had no gunshot wounds or anything. She just died in her sleep. It's really weird. She was all alone in her house, and her family said that she just died. She was going to start a Facebook group to awaken people to the multiple shooter story, and now she's dead. Yeah. Thank you for the group, Spock, Kirk, McCoy. Yeah, we don't want everyone to overeat sugar, so we want to minimize the amount of diabetes you have. Yeah, try not to overdo the sugar thing, especially, you know, in the evening. It's very tempting to have a big sweet roll, but don't have two. You'll save yourself a lot of hassles by not eating too much sugar. Alrighty, that's ready to go. Yeah, I think we should talk about hempcrete. I'll profile his ultimate sustainable building material video tonight and add it to my cool tech as well. No, actually, tiny homes, tiny houses. All right, good. All right. Christopher Steele believes the dossier is 70 to 90% accurate. We covered this story last week. Sometimes Friday would bring up, you know, major stories that we covered, touched on, just to wrap things up. Christopher Steele definitely believes 79% accurate, the dossier. Oh, wow, we got our regular caller now. How about that? Hey there, buddy. What's going on? Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Discount, how are you, brother?
Yeah, pretty good, buddy. How you doing? Yeah, right on, man.
Hey, I really haven't been watching the show. I've been out all night getting pussy, but I wanted to let you know I just tuned in, man. The hair is looking great. Good job.
Hey, thank you. It's the Marcus Welby look. I've managed to model myself.
A trim today or what?
Well, I looked at Marcus Welby and I said, you know, I can look just as good as Marcus Welby, you know, so.
Fuck Marcus Welby. You look better than him, Dave.
Oh, thank you,
we
man.
all know that.
Thank you. You're so sweet. I think I'll get a weave and some extensions in here.
Who needs it, bro? You got fucking talent unknown from God right there.
I do, man. I can't believe it. You know, when you get to this age, when I'm at, you haven't gotten there yet, but when you get to be my age, you got to do it like a vitamin pill every 3 days to keep your hair growing. I'm serious.
Oh, that's good. What kind of vitamin do you take, brother? I need to tip like that. Hang on, let me get my pen handy.
Yeah, right. Centrum. Take Centrum for guys. That's a good one. That's a good one, yeah.
That's Centrum. That's a multivitamin or what?
It's a multi, yeah. It definitely has a broad spectrum, like selenium. You need selenium, so Centrum is probably your best.
Do you take anything specific to hair related?
I don't know. I don't do hair boosters or anything. I don't do Rogaine or anything because they say it affects your heart.
If there was one vitamin singularly that helped with hair growth, what would that be?
Well, probably gluing hair on your head with super glue would be the one vitamin.
Like pubes or what?
No, I'm making this up because I'm reading the chat. But no, actually, I would go with rosemary tea. Make a tea out of rosemary and spray it on your head. And it really does help, keep your follicles vital. And those two pieces of advice would really help anybody who's losing their hair right now. They say avocados help too.
To a buddy of mine, he's another broadcaster, big TV star like yourself. His name is Glenn from Men's Room Television Show.
Glenn's Room, right? Yeah. How's his hair doing?
Yeah. Not good, bro.
Yeah, his diet. I heard he had some sort of a diabetic like thing happen. Is he okay? Was he recovered from his coma?
Well, he might be losing a foot coming up here. Because,
are you serious, dude? Oh, I'm so sorry.
Neglect.
Man, poor Glenn. We'll all be hoping he gets better.
Did you hear about that one guy, Electro Jorge?
No, never heard of him. Electro Jorge.
Podcast on Vaughn, and he actually got both of his feet were removed, and they replaced it with a singular wheel. He's like Rosie from the Jetsons.
That's disgusting, man. I'm so sorry to hear that. I see people like that wheeling around.
Like he owns a joint. It's pretty sweet.
He owns a joint?
Talk about, like, here's the thing. If you're going to lose your feet to something, you know, a terrible illness like diabetes,
Yeah.
I think at least it's a positive to know that you have a wheel like Rosie from the Jetsons.
Yeah. And they have those replacements that people can actually, if it's just 1 foot, you can get a prosthetic that could get you bouncing around pretty much. It's sad though, isn't it? You know,
They got it hooked into his neurons in some way, so he doesn't even actually have to like work the unit. It like just goes off of his intuition.
That's amazing. Well, good for them.
Dude, we're making great strides as a group here. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not a New World Order type guy, but I think mankind is making incredible strides.
Well, technologically speaking, we're trying to keep up. I almost think that the social adaptation process right now is trying to catch up to the technological revolution. I really do. We're at that point.
Taking a moment to discuss the terror that is diabetes with Mark Vaughn.
I didn't know Mark had diabetes, but if he's suffering from that, you've got a lot of things you got to constantly worry about, like keeping your feet clean. And don't allow any kind of like cuticle problems to form. It's really super important.
It's funny when you have to like tell people, like a normal human being, when you have to like encourage them to keep their feet clean.
Yeah, I know. I'm serious. No, but it's really a detrimental thing if you have diabetes. If you've got brittle cell diabetes or where you're injecting, and you get a cut in your foot, you could theoretically develop an infection rather quickly and lose your foot. So it's not uncommon to hear this.
Yeah. Dave, I was going through my Rolodex earlier, you know, and we were talking last night about all the fucking losers you got that are like sycophants like Carl and Hopper and the rest of them.
Well, they're suffering from deadbeatitis, but it's not like diabetes. It's called deadbeatitis, but yeah. Go ahead.
Found out the kid, I don't know if you've ever seen the commercials for St. Jude's Research Hospital for Children.
Yeah, totally, yeah. What about it?
Seen that commercial?
Yeah, I haven't seen Carl in it, though. Hey, it's me, awesome Carl!
No, they wouldn't let him in. They wouldn't let him in it. But the kid who actually is like basically the star of their whole ad campaign, he's actually a big AGP fan, and I want to hook you up with him, dude. He'd like to do a phone-in sometime.
That'd be great, man. You got connections. Let them on. Let them get the number. Call me up. Talk about their important issues. Yeah, why not?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up and, basically set the table for you, patch him through, and then I'm going to let you two make magic. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I hear you. Yeah, people do that all the time on trunk lines. Friends of mine call me up, and they start talking, then one guy, drops off, or the other guy, makes fun of the other. It's fun. It's like a fun group line. Yeah. As long as it's not some pervert who turns into a weird conversation.
Listen, there's enough perversion on this website, Dave. I think we all know that.
Well, I try to keep a clean show, and as you know, we're trying to minimize the amount of perverted talk here on the show, and I've done a pretty good job tonight by keeping guest chat out, but I'm going to have to let the perverts in. Bring them on.
You're going to have to do it eventually. Speaking of perverts, is there any truth that Sarah's going to wear like a short skirt, kind of like pilgrim outfit for the Thanksgiving broadcast?
No, there's no truth to that at all. You just made it up, didn't you? You came up with that on your own. You're using your brain. That's good. Well, critical thinking is what you learn in college.
I would not enjoy it.
But, no,
I'm just wondering if that's going to happen or not.
No, dude, no.
I'd rather spend time with my family on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I would too if I were you.
Broadcast is going to be, if it's going to be perverse, I might tune in.
I am your family. You forget to note that I am your family. You keep calling me brother every time that we get in the show. Hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, brother.
You're kind of like my brother-in-law, given mine and Connie's relationship. You're like
you don't have a relationship.
Always will be.
Well, Sarah and I are into modest wear, and very similar to some of the Islamic people and the Amish. We don't dress up or dress down or take our clothes off.
Don't ever insult the Amish by comparing them to the Islamic.
Well, I never would, but the Islamic and the Amish are working together now to make modest wear, and it's a good thing because many Amish people are getting good advice from Islamic people.
Why are you doing the Jewish accent when you're like?
Because I want to twist your mind, dude. I want to take you on a journey through Ashkenazi land. I want to take this show to a whole nother level. Thank you.
Well, I think you've accomplished that, Dave. Congratulations. Onward and upward.
All right.
If there's anything I can do for you, I understand you guys are roasting a chicken for Thanksgiving. If
no.
you want to borrow some money, call me.
No. Hold on. Whoa, Dilly. We are going to be getting a turkey. I found a $10 coupon. I'm going to get a $10 off on a I'm going to get it for 57 cents a pound. I managed to find a coupon. So
Okay.
we'll save a lot of money, and we'll.
You're going to save the chicken for the weekend then, or what?
Well, the chicken can stay in the freezer for when I really do have a major.
It's only 4 pounds. I don't know who you're going to feed with that thing, but.
Well, I could feed myself and others. I mean, seriously, 4 pounds. You can't even store it in the refrigerator long enough to eat it.
Is that how you keep Sarah so like sexually thin by underfeeding her?
No, Sarah does not eat a lot. She's a very careful eater. I
like about her.
I love the way she carefully selects the food. She believes in delayed gratification, and she taught me how to cut back on some of my food addictions. Like when I was pounding up.
Not a lot of people know this, but Sarah chews her food like each bite, each morsel, if you will. She likes to chew them like in excess of 45 times.
No, that's not true. But I do know that you're making this up. But Sarah definitely, she's very particular about when she eats. Like sometimes I'll want to serve her a dinner when I leave here, and she goes right back to not eating, and she likes to not eat. So that's good. It's a good thing.
I love that about her, man. That's something a lot of these fat bitches in America could totally learn from Sarah.
Well, I mean, aren't you being a little bit critical?
She's first lady. I mean, screw teaching like black kids how to read and shit. She should teach all these fat bitches in America how to lose weight.
Well, the bottom line is you can't teach people how to lose weight. They have to learn on their own. It's not a it's not something you can teach them. It's a self-will. It's a will thing. Do you have any control over how much crack you do in a week, or how much booze you drink? Hell no.
I don't do crack.
Oh, you don't do crack? Okay.
Difference there.
Well, you don't have control.
Lord, who does crack?
Well, you don't have control over some of the things you may do, whereas you find people like Sarah who do have control over that. It's pretty impressive,
No, she's an impressive gal, and again, you're a lucky guy, man. If anything ever happens to you, I'm gonna come swooping in there like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, you wouldn't make it in because she's already got a protocol to get the hell out of Dodge. You wouldn't even get near her. But thank you anyway.
You wouldn't vouch for me, bro, in your stead.
I'm not going to vouch for you, man. You come off as like a serial groper. Just personally, that's how I see you.
That's not even true, Dave. But I appreciate the warm thoughts.
No, I get the impression the way you demoralize women and objectify them that you're like a guy who was just grabbed their ass when you're in a bar or something. Am I right?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, I got you I took you the wrong way. The way you demoralize women, it makes me think that you'd be that kind of a person, but you're not. And I'm glad to hear that you're not.
Have you ever witnessed me demoralizing a woman?
I never have, except in the show when you talk little about women have a little extra weight. You call them fat bitches. You just did. I mean, it's like we got the recording. I mean,
that's factual. That's not.
Well, that's no way to talk to women. Nobody wants to think that their wife has got a big, fat, lard ass, and that's just wrong.
Dave, somebody needs to start talking to these women like that because it's disgusting.
What do you mean? Are you overweight at all? I mean, honestly, a little bit, kind of.
Maybe like 10 pounds.
Okay. So you know what I mean. It's a vicious road.
I'm a guy. I'm a rich white male. My weight's irrelevant.
We know that, yeah, but the bottom line is it's a slippery slope. When you start gaining a little weight and then you can't control it, it's about dealing with your life's pressures. Maybe she's not sexually satisfied by her husband, so she's eating chocolate all the time.
Most likely.
Yeah, I mean, if you're blaming her, well, I mean, why don't you blame her husband for groping other women? I mean, seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, think of the women that you're talking about when you demoralize them. Try to appreciate the fact that they have to live with their bodies and they have to love themselves. You're not being very kind to these poor, overweight women.
Let's talk about Al Franken. What's going on with him?
He seems to be really into Leslie Stahl and made a comment about wanting to rape her in one of his previous Saturday Night Live whatevers. Yeah, it's like
now, Dave,
weird.
As I've stated 100 times, you like myself, we're both champions for the Jews, right?
Well, I do like Jewish people. It's true.
Me too. But here's something that's like overwhelmingly apparent here in the last month, 2 months. What's up with all these creepy Jews in Hollywood, man?
Well, you're Jewish, so let's talk about it. Yeah.
No, but I mean, I don't behave like that.
No,
so, I mean,
no.
That's about Weinstein.
Yeah.
We'll go down the list. Weinstein.
Yeah, they couldn't get laid any other way. It's not like they're going to go out and find anybody.
What's up with that? what?
Yeah, they're men who cannot get laid, dude.
But I mean, is there a racial connotation
No,
to that? Or?
no, they want to objectify women. They just want to use women, and I think they can't get it up. I think it's erectile dysfunction in disguise. I really do.
Could be.
I think they just can't get it up, so they try to sample different women. And, you know, like if you go downtown and you meet this one, you say you frequent many women of the night, is that right? Do some of them do more for you than others?
Not anymore, but I have in my past. I'm not going to lie to you, Dave. I mean, I've probably procured, I don't know, somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, 110 hookers in my life.
Holy crap, we got a guy on the phone here who's been with 110 hookers. This is unreal. Right?
I just said under 10.
Oh, I thought you'd been 110. I'm sorry.
No, I would tell you if that was the case, Dave.
Under 10. Okay, well that's, look, you know, I don't want to personally judge you.
Here's the other thing for all the Rod naysayers. I don't mean to like burst your bubble here, Fruities, but they found a cure for AIDS years ago. It's don't shoot drugs and don't have sex with faggots. So,
that's a good line you should use on stage, man. You should do like a stage show.
If you're
the casino circuit.
Look this up sometime, Dave. I'll send you the link, but it's one of Norm Macdonald's like opuses. He goes, "What if I were to tell you that all you had to do to avoid getting cancer was not have sex with gay guys and don't shoot drugs? What would you tell me?"
Yeah, whoever he is. I mean, I haven't watched late night TV in about 40 years, so Johnny Carson was the last.
We don't have working cable. We all know that.
No, I don't do cable at all. In fact, I review.
I'll send you the link, bro.
I don't. Whatever. I know who you're talking about. The guy who thinks he's talented and isn't. And you're way more talented than that guy. I mean, he could be a stage performer.
In Hollywood, that's why he's not a mainstream star.
He isn't doing anybody in Hollywood?
He's not like you, Dave.
What do you mean?
He's smarter than everyone in Hollywood.
Oh, I get you. He's too smart.
Do you need me to have like coppers send you transcripts of what I'm saying?
No, we're already recorded by the NSA. There's nothing to worry about. Yeah, you're good. No, the fact that you even know who Norm Macdonald is.
Shot, dude. I'm noticing a lot of people in the chat giving DT, Lura, or whatever the name is, a lot of problems. Hey, back off. DT's a good guy. He's a peace-loving character, and he doesn't need to be treated like this. How dare you?
DT's not a guy. She's a woman, dude. I mean, what is this, like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis here? I mean, what do I got to do for you? Oh! I mean, what the hell, man? Have another drink and just forget about it. You worked hard this week. Relax. Forget about it.
Dude, the market was in the tank this week, Dave. We're not celebrating yet.
I hear you, man. I mean, a lot of you lost a lot of money in the 401ks you were bragging about last week. But hey, you know, it happens. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones.
Bring it up, bro.
We're bringing it up, man. The average today... The Dow Jones average today is 23,358. Took a 100-point drop. Whoa.
That's all right.
Did silver make a
if you were to put an honest figure on the Dow Jones industrial average, what would you say that number should be in reality? I'm thinking it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15.5.
Yeah, that's pretty hopeful. Yeah. Yeah, I see it more like around 10. Sorry. Anyway, but, you know, the inflated economy and all that.
Somebody with nothing in the game would say that. But
well, I don't really invest, you know. I don't believe the stock market's an indication of our economy. That's what I'm really trying to say.
Okay.
I just not a barometer.
Grossly inaccurate. Dave, you got to straighten that up.
Not really. No, in fact, quite the opposite. In fact, the stock market represents traders that are involved in big money deals, which don't affect any of us. So, frankly, the $400 per month per U.S. citizen is all people really need to supplement their income.
Right.
Yeah. Now, if we ever had a financial crisis where you lost all your money in your 401k and every one of your money market accounts,
I'm diversified, but thank you.
Fannie Mae,
appreciate the effort.
all your funds, and all of your diversifications get tanked because of a hack on our financial network, you'll save my royal ass and say thank you. There it is.
All right. Well, Dave, you did exactly what I was hoping for, dude. I was trying to calm down so I could fall asleep, and you put me into that state. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling, Rodney. It's been great talking to you. My fellow Americans, Rodney.
Give a shout out to BB Ravoso, would you?
My fellow Americans. Okay.
Let me put you on the line with a good friend of mine. His name is BB Ravoso.
Baby, how are you? Let's talk.
Hey, baby. Sure, BB, I've shared pad with BB on several occasions. That's private.
Well, my fellow Americans, No, I am not a crook. I can't do Richard Nixon with Abraham Lincoln over my face. I can't do it. I'm just sorry. It's not going to work. Lincoln had a high voice, like up in here. He was kind of like this. My fellow Americans, 407 years ago. My fellow Americans, Bibi and I have gone way back. He used to secure marijuana cigarettes for Pat when she wanted to relax. And we pulled a threesome one night in San Juan Capistrano. All right. Well, it's good talking to him. You know, it's great to get calls from somebody who's paid to do this and gets money to call us and shill us, you know. I almost feel like I'm getting my money's worth just talking to him, kind of pulling information out about his background, his voiceover background. Yeah. I would never talk about threesomes on my show, ever. Except, of course, many of you are experiencing polyamorous relationships and are considering it. I just did not. Auto hoaxing California shooting. Rodney's a little too weird to have visit anybody.
Alright, so I've been away for a little bit. Yeah,
whoever he visits is on him.
Life as it is, back to work. Just come back to the country for the weekend. Haven't got the internet yet, where I'm staying in Melbourne. But anyway, I've checked my comments and that, and someone sends me a link. And what do you know, there's been another shooting. This time it's another school shooting. But what I want to do is just go ahead and say this.
So we got another school shooting we're taking in tonight. We'll be talking about that and their take on it. Some people don't agree that the shootings happened. Many people believe it's false flags. I believe that there's lack of evidence, so I'm leaning in the false flag direction. Well, it was fun, yeah. Rodney is a professional voiceover guy. I recognized his voice when I was listening to a Scooby-Doo commercial one day. And then I did a little search and found him all over the history of Saturday morning TV, and he's done a lot of work, and I don't know who he really is. I don't even know if that's his real name. But I believe he's being paid to come in and basically, you know, manipulate our show. I really believe that. It's not really something I encourage, but, you know, he's been so persistent at it that I have to assume he's been paid to do this. The purpose of false flags is to trigger the political climate for gun control, to make us all frightened of weapons. So they can either use real guns, and you'll see a video later tonight where they saw 3 shooters in the roof in Mandalay Bay, for real. And I can show you that video right now. It just, you know, give it to you directly if you want to look at it. But and then talk about the helicopter that was there, allegedly having a flash fire coming out of it. All that stuff that, you know, we don't really know anything about, because there's very little evidence. But when we do see evidence, it makes us wonder, was there a multiple shooter? Anyway, here's a picture of the 3 guys on the outside of the Mandalay Bay, in case you haven't seen it. You'll see the dark figures in the picture here. Okay, we're going to close in on a picture here on the side of the building. And it zooms in on this, and you can see right there, there's men with guns, and as you close in on the pictures, you can see them moving around, and they count 3 different heads of 3 separate snipers on top of that roof. So that begs the question, why is the Clark County Police Department not investigating this and looking for other shooters in this allegedly worst terrorist attack in the whole country's history? So you'll be looking at that video footage later tonight if you hang out in the show. A person took the detailed time to categorize and look at it closely. So that's what false flags are all about. Fake events that may or may not have happened, or people may have been injured even, and may have been shot by snipers in order to push for a gun control message. No, I don't think that I don't think these are real terrorists. I don't think Stephen Paddock even died. The picture I saw was a guy in his 40s. His neckline didn't look like a man in his late 60s. None of it did. Yes, we saw the chemtrail penis over the skies of Okanagan today. And it came from a pilot that was stationed right on the island where I live, right there. So the pilot must live where I live, and then he flew over here and did this little figure eight, dropping chemicals. The weird thing is nobody's asking about, you know, what actually went into the chemtrail. All right. Vika, yeah, okay, I'm going to mute you, and that's the last warning, then ban time. Ban time for Vika. She doesn't seem to understand you can't post links here like that. Doctor wakes up and blows whistle on vaccine scam. Uncaged Bioshock has this story. Really cool. Okay. Nice. There he is, waking up. Okay.
Okay, well, tell us everybody your name.
Hi everybody, my name is Dr. Bob Zajac. I'm a board certified pediatrician. And if it's okay, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I have 8 kids. I have 15 years of training in what I'm about to talk to you about. My background is in child development, a 4-year degree. I was getting my PhD in special education 4 years before I surprised my wife with my desire to become a medical doctor. That added 7 more years. And then just for fun, I have a 2-year degree in Master's in Business Administration, so 17 years. And happy to share some of that experience with you in my personal journey as it relates to vaccines. And
good. We got a real live doctor talking about vaccines and what they've done to affect kids. Wow, that's good. Good to know. I'm glad some people are breaking out. No, I am not gay. You keep thinking I'm gay because your gaydar is all screwed up. No, chemtrails really are chemicals being dumped in the air. So you've been muted for that reason. Is Vika a bot, or is she just some deranged woman in Germany? I mean, who knows? Yeah. You know, I met Awesome Carl in a McDonald's, and he said, he said, "Hi, I'm Awesome Carl. How are you?" And he never propositioned me. He never made any overt attempt to, "Hey, would you like to go to the bathroom with me, Dave?" He never said that. God, and it's calling people out because their voice sounds different than yours. Well, not many people have a really deep voice and constantly overcompensate for their voice. But some people do. Oh, here he is again. Here, this is the troll, the paid troll.
You know, speaking of your interaction with Hot Carl and
yes.
Hopper, like, when you and Sarah get in the fucking hybrid, after you meet these guys at like a McDonald's or Perkins or something, I mean, do you guys sit there and go, what the fuck are we doing with our lives? This has got to be rock bottom. We're meeting Hot Carl.
You know, let me explain something, because what you're experiencing is like a look back in time. When Sarah and I started this whole
process, I just want you to take us all there.
I'm going to take you right there, right now. You're in motion. When we started this in 2008, we had open eyes and open minds to meeting people. We met the car guy down in California. We met a musician in San Fernando. We met Mr. Bumpus in Cleveland, who is the famous Mr. Bumpus in the Christmas Story that many of you are going to see. The first scene has Mr. Bumpus in it. Anyway, we met these people like Tekwala and all these other people because they're average people. They're a swash of the American people. And we didn't know that Hoppy was going to lie to us. And, you know, obviously, realizing that, we didn't want to, he seems...
I commend you for your effort, but, like, you ended up meeting, like, bottom-feeding losers on the government dole. You didn't meet the average man, the average woman, the average taxpayer.
You know, I haven't met... I know a lot of average taxpayers. I know a lot of people who are working every day to meet the minimum payments on their credit card. I know a lot of people in America, not just bottom dwellers, and I don't consider everyone I met bottom dwellers. I really don't. I really consider, I believe that you're looking at the vast swash of America in an elitist way. Huh?
Give me an example of someone that you met that isn't.
Well, Mr. Bumpus wasn't a bottom dweller. I mean, Mr. Bumpus was the coolest guy I've ever met. I mean, we sat up...
He's got all those residuals from Christmas Story. I mean, they only show that, what, like 800 times a year on cable? I mean, the guy's fucking flush. We're not talking about Mr. Bumpus or his dog.
Well, I just mentioned Mr. Bumpus. So you don't want to deal with Mr. Bumpus? So be it, you know? I mentioned a real legitimate person, and you don't want to deal with it. Okay. All right, whatever.
I'm just saying, like, Bumpus doesn't even need to work. The guy's a fucking celebrity, dude. He's part of a major motion picture that's like a fucking cult hit.
I don't think he even got a lot of residual money on it. If you really knew the guy, you'd understand that he was an amazing person. He has a soul, a heart. He's been the heart of rock and roll. He's a roadie in the Cleveland years, the rock and roll industry. I mean, it was like meeting a rock icon for 4 hours at Denny's. How do you cut that experience in your life out of your lexicon of experiences? I mean, these are golden opportunities. Even meeting this disabled guy that was manipulating people, violating the Stolen Valor Act, that was an amazing, weird experience. I mean, I happened to be near New York at the time, and I happened to drop into his, hometown in Connecticut.
Let me ask you a question. Mr. Bumpus, he claims to be the same Mr. Bumpus from the Christmas Story. I mean, you said he lives in Ohio.
Cleveland. Yeah.
Yeah, like a lot of losers. Do you realize that the story of that film actually took place in a fictional Indiana town, but it was actually northern Indiana city? It wasn't even in Ohio. So, I mean, I think this guy's lying to you.
Why are you finding fault in everything I'm telling you? I mean, just accept the fact that it was been a great...
I'm just trying to clarify, dude. I think you've been played again.
No, I don't think so.
It's like when Hopper told you, like, he was in a black ops situation.
Oh, I seriously didn't. I did not believe that was real. I was letting him run off out of his mouth to see where he would go with it. I didn't know where he was going with these lies. I thought, okay, take a trip, dude. I mean, he went off the deep end. You know what he did? I mean, I have never done his impersonation since he asked me to not do that. I've honored his request to not impersonate him.
Whose impersonation?
Hoppy. Yeah, I do an excellent impersonation.
Hey, can we work out some kind of signal for when I call you? I'm going to start calling you in my Hopper character.
You can try.
All right, let's
work your way into it. Have a couple more shots. Work your way into it. I'm on for another 20 minutes, so feel free.
Okay, act like the phone's ringing, and we go, hey, Dave, it's me, Hopper.
Jeez. I told him I would not make fun of his voice. No, I won't do it. No. And I'm done with your calls, Rodney. You're taking up too much of the show. People are supposed to have fun tonight. So here's the chat, everybody, if you're watching. Yep. Vika is a bot. We played the weirdest movie ever this past week on Technology Thursday. I must show it to you just briefly. It freaked me out when we saw the kind of technology that they're pushing of drones that are weaponized. And I seriously think we've got a problem. Houston, we've got a problem. Weaponized drone activity. That's weird. It's disappeared. Huh. That's very strange. Maybe it is in technology. Huh. Here it is.
Customer pilots directed almost 3,000 precision strikes last year. We're super proud of it. It allows you to separate the bad guys from the good. It's a big deal. But we have something much bigger. Your kids probably have one of these, right? Not quite. Hell of a pilot? No. That skill is all AI. It's flying itself. Its processor can react 100 times faster than a human. The stochastic motion is an anti-sniper feature. Just like any mobile device these days, it has cameras and sensors, and just like your phones and social media apps, it does facial recognition. Inside here is 3 grams of sheet explosive. This is how it works. Did you see that? That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents. They used to say guns don't kill people. People do. Well, people don't.
Yeah, drones do. Pretty scary, isn't it, to see that? No, I don't do dress up. But that's pretty messed up. I wanted all of you to see that because it's one of the most mind-blowing pictures of the development of technology and where we're headed right now. Yeah, and he was way too excited about killing, too. That was weird, the way he talked about it in such a emotionless sense, indifferent. Like he was completely, he could care less if he kills or doesn't kill. He just is going with the AI universe of kill or destroy. Well, that video is really powerful, and it goes on to make an even more fearful or disturbing picture of the world that we're living in, or could live in. Oh, Vika, I'm sorry. You're going to have to not be in here for a while. Thank you. Yeah, it's scary. I wanted to share that with everybody here, and anyone who's watching can tell that there's some serious problems with AI and where it's headed. So there's a growing group of people that are trying to get rid of any weaponized drones that are not under human control. Those are weaponized drones that don't even need to be controlled by a human. They're AI. They can be told to do something and they'll do it. They'll accomplish their goal. Bubbles Micro Ninja demo reel. Wow, this is exciting. Bubbles is making a new demo reel. Trailer Park Boys is evolving. Higher levels of Trailer Park Boyitis. Determinator. Yeah. He's a cybernetic organism.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. That's pretty good.
You know what they call a quarter pounder with cheese in Paris? They don't call it a quarter pounder? No, man, they got the metric system. They wouldn't know what the fuck a quarter pounder is. What do they call it then? A Royale with cheese. Royale with cheese. What do they call a Big Mac? Big Mac's a Big Mac, but they call it Le Big Mac. The Big Mac. What about the Whopper? I don't know. I didn't go into Burger King.
That's good.
Talking to me?
Talking to me?
You talking to me?
Yeah, Taxi Driver was awesome. Where he has his weapons all rigged up in his arm, and oh man, Robert De Niro. I can see why it launched his career. He was in a movie before Taxi Driver called Mean Streets. It actually started the career of Al Pacino and James Caan and Robert De Niro. And it was one of the worst movies ever made, Mean Streets. I mean, it really, it was in the all-time. Hey, I'll add that to the lineup. Thank you. Yeah, we're always interested in bubbles. And Harvey Keitel. Thank you. Harvey Keitel, James Caan, Al Pacino, and Robert De Niro all started in this horrible movie. I mean, it was bizarre how bad it was. Anyway, Sylvester Stallone is denying the charges that he was allegedly was in a threesome with a forced a 16-year-old into a sex act. He's denying the charges. A lot of people are really kind of worried now that this whole thing is just exploding. And what does it really mean? I mean, does this mean that everybody's going to get off scot-free because they're all part of this big Copperfield thing? David Copperfield? Are they all going to just get a pass because they're all part of this big reveal? It's going to go down in history as the Hollywood reveal of 2017, or the pedo reveal, which we really should be investigating. It's almost like they're throwing a lot of the low-level pedophiles or molesters into the foray, so that the real bad ones are still hiding in the rear, avoiding detection. Yeah, Godfather was De Niro was Godfather before Taxi Driver could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe you're right. I don't know. I've always wanted to play one of those roles, though. I don't know anything about Sylvester Stallone. No, I don't believe anything unless I see some proof. Yeah. I mean, he talks like, you know, what are you kidding? Okay. Say hello to my little friend. Okay, you want me to do Sylvester Stallone? You want me to Tony Montana? Say hello to my little friend. Okay. You cockroach. Here's a homemade hover bike. Oh no, I don't want to watch that. All right, let's see what we got here. Coming up on the 10-minute mark. Yeah. A little time for cowbell. There we go. Cowbell's always good. It's relaxing, calming. It makes you feel good. We got a visit. Thank you. Will you shut up? Jesus, stop with the cowbell. Thank you. We got a visit from a guy I talked to about 3 years ago called Cyber Jedi. He's got an AI system he's developing. And he came in our room and he said he's working on the Turing project to try to compete with the other AIs that are out there.
My name is American Jedi, and I hate everyone. I think everyone is stupid or a retard, or a tool. But the reality is, I'm dumb as fuck. Ha ha ha. The world hates me. All you pricks can kiss my ass. Fuck you all.
So anyway, he came up with this artificial intelligence creation that he thinks that is going to go really viral, and he's doing an open source. He says, come on in. He's going to help set up a website for me with a video chat, and he'll have an artificial intelligence creature in there. I'm beginning to wonder about him, but you know, it is interesting. He says he's working on the Turing project, and he's been well received in the scientific community. So I don't know what to say. Who knows? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. All right. Well, we have other people too that we always keep track of. He's a smart guy, you know. You don't know what to think about this guy because he daisy-chained a bunch of hard drives he picked up for next to nothing online. I mean, that alone makes me wonder if he really isn't constructing an AI model, working on it. Yeah, I'm having a blast. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, he seems like a funny and interesting character, so we're going to keep him calling in and talking whenever he gets in here. Okay, yeah, so I think we covered everything. Man, it's hard sitting in one place all night talking incessantly. Yeah, it's the same news too, over and over again. It's always, you know, more information about the Russians paying off Donald Trump. You know, it's getting so boring. It's all this truth about Donald Trump and how now they're finding 60 Russian payments to finance election campaign of 2016. Yeah. Wire transfer is one of more than 60 now being scrutinized by the FBI and other federal agencies investigating Russian involvement in the U.S. election. The transactions, which moved through Citibank accounts and totaled more than $380,000, each came from the Russian Foreign Ministry, and most contain a memo line referencing the financing of the 2016 election. So it's looking more and more like Donald Trump is going to be facing indictments. The gauntlet is descending slowly on the White House from the Robert Mueller investigation team. We shall see how many more people will be named in the upcoming weeks. Boing, boing, boing. No, it's fake news to you because you don't agree with it. It's not fake news to me. It's really happening. But if you want to read about it, here's BuzzFeed News. Yeah, I mean, sure, you don't have to take it seriously. Just sit back and I'm trying to. What did I miss? Okay, Daniel's attorney says he sexually assaulted her. She did not give consent. He tried to pursue a romantic relationship, then spurned his advances. Oh, Lucinda Daniels versus Al Green. Okay. I did not know. Thank you. Twitter has David Weissman, a Vietnam vet who was attacked today by a Palestinian Islamic terrorist. Okay. In Israel. Okay, the terrorism continues. This man was attacked by terrorists today. I don't want to show you the details of that picture. It's very disturbing. Why are you recording chat? I'm not recording chat. No, not right now. Dave, how are you? You're with the. You don't trust them until you're Trump. Are you what? You're so tired of repeating the same message over and over again. Guest 924 is now abbreviating his nonsense. That's so funny. So just because I don't agree with the CIA in one area doesn't mean I have to disagree with them in another. I mean, it's not a mutually exclusive situation here. Our national security is at risk. If the CIA made a mistake about Hillary's emails, doesn't mean that they were in some way making a mistake regarding the Russian involvement in Donald Trump's administration. Hello? Let's focus on the show. We're closing in on the final 4 minutes of the live broadcast, in which I deliver a solid message, concise and to the point. What was I saying exactly? Last week, Roy Moore, all women accusers must be believed. This week, Al Franken, all women accusers with photographic evidence that's unchallenged by the accused must be further investigated. Okay. Well, all I can say is Al Franken admitted he did this. That's a big step in the right direction. I can honestly agree with Sarah Sanders when she said that Donald Trump, there's a big difference between Donald Trump and the accusations of him versus Al Franken. Donald Trump never admitted doing anything, and Al Franken did. That's a big difference. Wrap it up. Expose California Rancho Tehama elementary school shooting. Here we go. The telltale signs.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Ian from Death to Life. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this Northern California shooting where they had 5 people that are dead and 10 injured, right? In this little mass shooting they had at this elementary school, at some sort of at this reserve, you know what I mean? Yeah. Place, yeah. Look at this with this peel out, you know what I mean? They put the peel out on the asphalt to make it dramatic, you know what I mean? Yeah.
So we'll look closer at that, see what the lack of evidence is. Usually the telltale sign, in that case, the shooter killed themselves, of course, and there's never any funerals for the shooters, right? They don't have any families. They just disappear. Bing, gone. Ding, 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 ding. Next. Another one bites the dust. Yeah. Now, if you know that for sure, be sure you contact your local officials and tell them about what Al Franken did to you. Hello, we do Dave Dip Chat. That's so funny, haha. Hey, check it out. They've got a new UHF thing going on where they do a Dave Dipshit dance, and it's a contest. So funny, ha 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 ha. Thank you so much, Japan, for doing the Dave Dipshit dance contest. Oh, wow, it was 23. You then met Al Franken later when you were 23, then it was on you? So you had relations with Al Franken at 12 and then met him at 23 and asked him to have more relations? Are you telling me the truth here? Because I don't think you are. No, look, you don't have to believe any of the Russian information. Oh no, you can disagree with me on this. I don't care. I have the right to agree and disagree with the CIA and the FBI. I don't understand how you can decide to throw the baby out with the bathwater every time we talk about either one of these agencies. It's not an either or thing, okay? You don't understand that. You can't see the gray. You're an extremist. You're a neocon. You're like Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. Yeah, you know, I don't see how anybody could find Al Franken a sexy guy. So look at it from his perspective. A lot of people go through life never ever achieving sexual bliss. So they spend all their time thinking of ways they can become sexually active. Get a comedy career, on Saturday Night Live, run for Congress, become a U.S. Senator by rigging elections or seemingly rigged elections. And then maybe you get laid, you know? I don't think, Al Franken never was married. I mean, I don't think the guy's ever been laid. I think he's probably a virgin. I don't know, what do you think? No, I still condemn the CIA nightly, not entirely. What the hell? I do own a bow tie. Thank you for asking. I'm not going to wear it. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the oldest profession in the world. The prostitution rings. Money for poontang. It's as old as time, man. Women like a funny guy with a huge penis. Wow. That describes a lot of people out there. Well, you want to grow up and be you. Well, you maybe can. The whole David Sponheim, Learn to Be David Sponheim program I'm putting together. Yeah, I haven't quite revealed it yet, but it's going to be interesting. You're not going to see a bow tie tonight, man. This is the rest of the show. This is it, man. That's all I got, man. We're just trying to ride the wave of concern about groping and sexual advances made by Donald Trump. I think a lot of people want to steer the conversation toward the Trump groping event. Not a lot of people are getting a lot of feedback on that issue. Oh man, here we go. Lest we forget from a young Bernie Sanders. This is what Bernie Sanders said, and this is really kind of shocking. And many of you who are Bernie Sanders supporters, we saw this during the election. Watch what I'm saying here. A man goes home and masturbates his typical fantasy. A woman on her knees, a woman tied up, a woman abused. A woman enjoys intercourse with her man as she fantasizes being raped by 3 men simultaneously. Yeah. That was Bernie Sanders, and we exposed this during the election, ironically. But the Democrats didn't want to hear it. Yeah, Bernie was, It was a rape statement that he made, much like the one that Al Franken wrote about when he was at Saturday Night Live. He made a statement about Lee Stahl wanting to rape her, and that went public today. So that was weird about Al Franken. Lots of reveals about the perversions of a lot of these professional politicians. Thank you for that link, Elephant Juice. Another one bites the dust. So Al Franken probably won't be running for president after all. And neither will Bernie, so that clears that up. I don't know about Elizabeth Warren. We're still waiting on the actual proof that she's a Cherokee Indian. That hasn't been proven yet. You're suffering from what is called extremist views. The person that's been stalking me in the show. Yeah, you don't understand. There's always a good and a bad side to everything. Everything. I mean, even probably Charles Manson, you know, had a mom that gave birth to him and looked at him going, oh, what a sweet little baby, you know. And now he's on death's door, clinging to life. No one knows what's keeping him going. They don't know what's wrong with him either. An anti-LGBT politician resigns after being caught having sex with a man in his own office. Talk about hypocrisy reigning supreme in this weird, immoral, and puritanical society we're living in.
What ought to be public and what shouldn't be, that would in part depend on what did occur. And in general, I think more sunlight is better, and I think we've had a pretty open process here in the Senate.
According to Speaker Rosenberger, there was an inappropriate interaction in Goodman's office between Goodman and a person not employed by the legislature.
All right, so apparently he basically reversed his whole position and cheated on himself. Well, I know that the rigged election went down. Oh yeah, but nobody's going to prove it. And everyone's afraid that Hillary is going to add them to the body count. So nobody speaks out. Whenever somebody says something about the rigged election, I didn't exactly mean that. I'm sorry, Hillary. Oh. I'm understanding. Dave, the guest's point is that there was only bad until Trump violated me. Okay? He did. He stole over 10 of my ideas. Trump went out of his way to do intellectual property theft to win this election. I understand that my position against the CIA has evolved into approving the CIA's concerns that maybe Trump was off on the North Korean assessment. Calling Kim Jong-un a whack job was not appropriate, considering the CIA believes that Kim Jong-un is rational. Okay? That's one aspect that I think is moving toward the direction of national security. The defining line here about whether we believe the news or whether we believe the CIA or we believe the FBI is it serving our national interest to believe these agencies? That's the defining line. Are they serving our nation's interests? And right now, the FBI is not serving our nation's interests. They're not investigating Hillary's emails like they should. Comey stopped the investigation and the new guy hasn't picked it up, Ray. And I'm also concerned that the entire Seth Rich investigation hasn't gone on. So there's lots of holes in the FBI's approach, and the organizations like the NSA and the FBI, the CIA, seem to be ripped apart right now. So I think what we're dealing with is there are some people that are serving their own interest, and then some people that are serving America's interest. And those people I respect, the ones serving America's interest. I'm not saying the CIA isn't corrupt. I never said that, but you fail to understand that there is a gray area here. Again, you're fixated. You just don't get it, man. No. No, look at whoever's censoring me, and I don't know if it's one agency or the other. I don't even know if it's the Russians. The Russians could be paying Mark's bills right now. No, I don't believe in that. Thank you. Well, you can respect Donald Trump if you want. I don't care. That doesn't matter to me. Look, I'm not trying to take your beliefs away from you. I'm trying to steer you toward realization. In my eyes, we've got things to face up to. Trump's involvement with the Russians, major, major problem for national security. Elitism is a good thing, people. It may be elitist, and perhaps that's what golf needs. Let golf be elitist. When I say aspire, that's a positive word. Let people work hard and aspire to someday be able to play golf. Words that Donald Trump makes that are just so ridiculous. I will make so many of the jobs. I will be the greatest jobs president that God ever created. It's called a carpet. Thank you very much. I don't wear a rug. It's mine. I promise not to talk about your massive plastic surgeries that didn't work. You know, at the very least, you have to assume that Donald Trump likes Donald Trump. And he's not going to ever stop liking Donald Trump. We, as a nation, are adapting to Donald Trump. It is not cognitive dissonance to distrust and trust an organization. Like I said, I trust certain people and I don't trust certain people. If I were to say that, if you were to say it's cognitive dissonance to think that there might be some dangerous people in the world and there are some really nice people in the world, you're calling that cognitive dissonance. So therefore you shouldn't like people. You see, you're taking everything to the extreme, and that's what makes you psychotic. You need to seek some help, McGregor. I would urge you to possibly ask a local professional in your area if you're not suffering from what is called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I really do believe you could be diagnosed as such. Yeah. With OCD people, they can't ever take any variance or allow any type of variance whatsoever. It's all either or, black or white. You don't take any kind of gray area. That's the problem. So I'm going to assume you're OCD, and the cognitive dissonance you're perceiving everywhere is just your inability to acknowledge the moderate position. I don't need an intervention. No, I'm doing great. You know, I don't think you're ever going to get a certificate on mental status from Donald. No. All right, I think we've had a good night overall. Yeah, I think the fact that we can even talk is good. Left and right meeting together in the middle of the political spectrum here on a nightly basis. Yeah, well, you should suffer from your ailment. Suffrage is probably the best way of achieving enlightenment. I don't know. I haven't decided about Christmas. I'm still working on Thanksgiving. We have 4 more hours to go. Heroin production doubles, and why I don't give a shit. This is the person speaking. I
Hey
care.
there, folks. I'm not even sure why I'm covering this. I don't give a shit. And I don't think anybody else gives a shit either. If I gave a shit, I'd leave a shit in the toilet. Now let's talk about my enlarged prostate. Hello? Stupid.
All right,
So,
we got another funny guy. Good. Weather Mafia. Another one on the list. It's great. People that don't give a shit. Good for that. I'm glad I opened up the word shit to our show, because last 5, 7, 8 years I didn't use that word until this past year. That guy has leadership meth on his face. Look, you people don't understand hardship. You know, I understand people that suffer. I've seen people that suffer, and I can tell you that man in Chicago is going through some tough times. Many people don't realize how tough it is to live in Chicago. But yes, we're making our traditional onion bean dish with, I guess, mushroom soup. Mushroom soup. Man forgets where he parks, then finds it 20 years later. Wow. Nice to find your car, and it's a classic. Out in the middle of nowhere. Dude, here's your car. Back in 1997, the German city of Frankfurt, a man reported his car as stolen to the police. 20 years later, the authorities in the city have tracked down the missing vehicle, only to discover that the man who owned it had in fact just forgotten where he'd parked the car and had assumed it had been stolen. The vehicle was found in a garage in an old industrial building that is due to be demolished. The car was in the way of the demolition, so reported the police did investigation. Blah, blah, blah. Now a 76-year-old was driven by police to his daughter to be reunited with his car. Unfortunately, the car was no longer functional and had to be scrapped. Yeah, well, you know, that's nice. It's a human interest story. That's special. I got to get out of here. Sarah's waiting for me. I've got a Netflix and chill. Campbell's is good soup, yeah. Their mushroom soup is great. I have a large group of online friends. It's true. Well, yeah, I don't know. Hello, hi from Croatia. You're more funny than a tranny Sarah. Sarah is not a tranny. How can you say these words? We are going to watch the show that's demoralizing me as I speak. It's, yeah. It's a show. It's hilarious. It's called Shameless. And it's hilarious. I absolutely think it's funny. It deals with some tough issues, you know, social issues. But the cast is pretty good. Well, I do. William Macy is the guy in Shameless. He's the star. And he plays a role that I've never seen anybody play. He's phenomenal. I've never seen a guy go off the deep end like this guy. He was literally, in the show I just saw, he was literally humping a gravesite. Because he missed this woman that he met who died of a young age. And he was at her gravesite and he was humping the ground. And it's amazing what a great actor he is. And I commend him because, you know, not a lot of people can do these kind of roles and pull it off without, you know, putting a lot of makeup on, and cake makeup, you know, covers any wrinkles that you might have. And there you have it. Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. I'm not William Macy. I'm not in the movie Shameless. All right, take it easy, everybody. Have a good evening. We'll be back tomorrow with our anti-war rally. Yeah, he's a great actor. I think he's phenomenal in this role, too. If you haven't seen him.
My name is American Jedi.
Okay, thank you, man. Take it easy. Good night. Awesome show. Good to have a conversation with myself and listen to your chat and responding to me. It's always been a pleasure. Yeah, later. Here's a great inspirational song by a Celtic woman called The Voice. Kind of take me out of the place I'm in. I'm going to listen to this for a while. Take care. Good night.